We've all seen these on the sidelines, right? Gatorade, Accelerade, many others out there. But do you ever wonder what's really in them? Are they really optimal for sports performance? Is this the best we can do? Today I'm stepping off my bike and into my kitchen to show you how to make a better sports drink using science and stuff you already have in your home. There's no gimmicks or sales pitch or trying to get you to buy expensive stuff, just physiology and some flavor. Let's get started. To perform well during training sessions or long rides or races, your drink needs to do three things, right? Hydrate, fuel, and support recovery. This is what the research says and supports for a hydration and fueling drink during long rides or workouts, and what the science says works per bottle per serving. Fluids should be about 20 to 24 ounces per hour as you're riding. Carbs, a wide range from 30 to 60 grams, ideally at about a 6 to 8% osmolality, since that matches your body and allows for the quickest absorption. Protein should be about 5 to 20 grams. If you're going long or you're doing a particularly intense session or a lot of eccentric or eccentric exercise, we'll get into that in a minute. Sodium, minimum about 300, maximum about 600. Again, a wide range in case you are a particularly salty sweater. Potassium, that's where Gator-Aid makes its money. That's the only thing that's not in common household ingredients. Big range there, 78, maybe 195 or 200 milligrams per liter. And total calories per hour, about 200 to 300. Those ranges of all the macro and micronutrients in fluid are supported by years and years of sports nutrition research, and they're used by endurance athletes worldwide. They're not just random numbers, they optimize hydration, energy delivery, and gastric comfort during endurance exercise. They are what works. Now, what are in these commercial products? Let's take a look. Gator-Aid gives you about 21 grams of sugar per about 12 ounce serving with about 160 milligrams of sodium. No protein. Potassium, it kind of varies depending on the flavor that you choose. Accelerade adds whey protein and uses a carb to protein ratio mix, about 4 to 1. Some other companies do about 3 to 1 carbs per protein, but it is pricier and doesn't let you customize the ratios per your body weight. So these certainly do work, and yeah, I have them at home, but I do like to mix it up, and I often do a DIY version here and there. So what ingredients do we need? First is our carbs. And very simply, all we need is good old-fashioned table sugar, right? Sucrose, glucose, and fructose. The other option that these products use is maltodextrin, which are chains of glucose molecules, which you can certainly buy on Amazon, a powdered maltodextrin. But sucrose actually has some advantages because you get that dual transport carb capability with SGLT1, which is glucose, and then GLUT5 receptor is fructose. So you can, in theory, get a more maximal sugar absorption when you are hammering and need those carbs as quick as you can during a race. So I sometimes use sucrose. More on that later, though. Next, table salt. Good old-fashioned sodium chloride, your regular salt. That's all you need. That'll get you pretty far. The one thing where Gator-Aid makes its money is in the potassium, because this is not commonly found in what's generally in your kitchen. However, it's really not that hard. This is what I use, just Morton's, the light salt. There's less sodium and they replace it with potassium, and that's where you get your potassium. Next, if you wanted some flavor options, you can put a little bit of lemon juice in there. Some people use the Crystal Light, Kool-Aid, Mio, those powdered drink flavoring packets. That works fine. But I've gotten used to just my sugar of choice. I tend to go with brown sugar. I mean, some people prefer honey. Heck, you can use agave. There's a lot of options out there. Lastly, our last ingredient is whey protein. If you are doing a ride that's 2 hours or greater, we talked about that in the last video, or if you're doing particularly hard intervals or eccentric or eccentric training, or if it's a race and you just want to get the maximal nutrition you can, you got to add a little bit of whey protein. And then water, 20 to 24 ounces. So let's build it. First, we get our container. Most water bottles are either 20 ounces, 24 ounces, or the one that I personally like to use, this is Podium from Camelback because it's stainless steel, not made of plastic. This is actually 22 ounces. It might not look like it, but that's 22. And that works pretty well. So this is already pre-filled with some water. Now, let's start with our carbs. Again, I'm a brown sugar person. Each tablespoon is about 13 grams, so if you do 3, that'll basically get you to what you may need. Now, a little bit on that. The range is 30 to 60 grams. I've put in 60 grams and tried it out, and yeah, it is pretty darn sweet, sure, and I feel like I'm getting a Gator-Aid fill, but when I do 30, my blood sugars stay stable. When I go up to 60, my blood sugars go through the roof. And how do I know that? It's because I have this is a Freestyle Libre continuous glucose monitor. I've had impaired glucose tolerance, and I was able to get access to one of these from my physician. They can prescribe that. If you have a physician that's willing to do that, it's not too hard to get nowadays. The alternative, if you don't want to go this route, is you can just go right down to CVS and get a fingerstick glucose, and you can just measure it right on the ride, like that. And we have our 1/4 teaspoon of the light salt. You can do 1/8 of a teaspoon. So you can basically just ballpark that of your table salt. And that's basically it. It already has sugar in there. Mix it really well. I am going to use this for my ride later this afternoon, which is going to be a pretty long one, 30 plus, maybe 40 mile ride. So I am going to go with a little bit of whey protein here. So for pre-ride, you want to do about 0.3 grams per kilogram. So if you are a 72, 73 kilogram person, which I am, that translates roughly into about 21, 22 grams of protein. During the ride, 0.25 grams per kilogram in theory per hour, which can roughly amount to about 17 grams of protein. You can kind of ballpark that. This is about a 20 gram container here, so this looks like about 10 to 15. It doesn't have to be absolutely spot on, and the science is not solid on exactly how much protein you might need. It would help if I close the container and then just shake it up. All right, we're back. There's a reason why bikes don't belong in the kitchen, and I shouldn't have had that there, and it fell down. Anyway, we got it. This is our basic DIY endurance sports drink, backed by science, and it'll give you good performance. Heck of a lot cheaper than this stuff. So what are the problems with it, right? How come everyone is not doing this? Well, for one main reason, it's a bit of an acquired taste. You do get used to it. I find that the brown sugar and the whey protein kind of gives it a little bit of a latte or a cappuccino kind of flavor to it. I actually don't add the lemon juice, and I don't like any of the artificial sweeteners, so I just go with this. So this gives you that 6 to 8% carb concentration, which is the osmolality that matches your body to allow you to maximally absorb this. If you go higher than that, what happens is your body will take water from the blood, flood your gut to be able to absorb it, and you get all that bloated, uncomfortable feeling. Number one, it's not fun when you're trying to ride. And number two, you're basically dehydrating yourself on the inside. You are sweating into your gut to dilute that. So pay attention to the science, get the concentration right. I can put up a chart maybe here or over here to show the osmolality concentration based on the fluid ounce amount and your ideal carb range, or at least the carbs that you want to try. So how much does all this cost? It's really cheap. This is based on US grocery prices in major US cities, and average on 2025 estimates based on the recording of this video. Might be even cheaper where you live. First, table sugar, about 7 cents if you're going to use that 39 gram amount. If you double that and get up into the 60 grams, it might be a little bit more. Table salt, 0.01 cent, less than a penny. The Morton's rock salt, 1.4 cents, okay? That's your major expense here that you have to buy. Lemon juice, I mean, heck, I can find, there's a lemon tree down the street that are just dropping lemons. I can get this for free, but if you buy lemon juice or lemons, it might be about 6 cents, okay? So it's not really breaking the bank here. If you add all that up, if you don't use the whey protein, you're talking 21 cents, less than a quarter for this. I mean, that's less than bottled water. It's incredible. If you add the whey protein, that's where your cost comes in here. Whey protein, depending on where you get it, if you use about 15 grams, that might be more like 50, 60 cents, depending on where you get it. So totaling all this up, if you also add the whey protein, it might be 75 cents or 89 cents. Pretty darn cheap, especially compared to the Accelerades and Gatorades, which are like $3, $4, $5, depending on where you go and get it. So there you have it, a science-backed and budget-friendly sports drink that you can make in your own kitchen based on science. No fancy labels, just performance. If you found this helpful, please share it with your fellow exercisers and athletes. You don't need to spend money on this. You could make this all by yourself. And I may start a little DIY at-home physiology experiment series based on checking your own blood glucose using the continuous glucose monitor. I might borrow my friend's lactate meter. That could be fun. Please drop a comment if you want a printable version. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing for some practical sports science. And I'll make sure next time I don't bring my bike into the kitchen. And I'll see you next time, maybe back on the bike. And really mix that well. It has, man, I am failing major today. I'm splashing everything everywhere.